Claire, do you really think we can eat 7 steaks?
It's a 7 steak.
Oh, 7 steak.
7 steak.
I was like, hey, this is cooking for 2. We can't make 7 steaks for dinner.
But 2 7 steaks. We could do that.
So that's not going to be like a lot of food. It'll be just enough for 2?
Just enough for 2.
Well, what is 7 steak and why do they call it 7 steak? Do you know?
I don't really know.
We're going to have to look it up.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a cut of beef taken from the shoulder. It's a relatively inexpensive cut.
How much was it, Jay?
Well, I already threw away the thing. $7.99 a pound.
What?
Is that good? Seems kind of in the middle.
It seems kind of in the middle. I will say, like, there's a good amount of, like, fat.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Also, I will say, like, have any opportunity we have to have the bone in the protein that we're preparing is a good thing.
Now, the drawback is that it's a pretty tough cut of meat. So the best way to cook this is to... Right, we're gonna smother this. My first step is that I'm gonna salt this. Now, some recipes that I've seen will add other seasonings, but if you ask me, you're setting yourself up for failure. Because if you put garlic or if you put
black pepper even.
Black pepper, paprika,
guess
what's gonna happen?
Burn.
Burnt. Salt it and don't add anything else. And not a lot, some, because you're gonna keep layering the flavors in. You just wanna get a little bit on that meat. We're not brining it, we're not doing anything like that. All the flavor is gonna come from the meat itself. All right, now we're moving over to a heavy bottom skillet that's heated up to about 325 degrees. And I think I'm gonna throw in a little bacon fat. Is that okay?
Yes.
Are the flavor police gonna show up?
No, the flavor police aren't gonna show up, and neither are the technique police, because 325 is suitable for that fat.
Yeah, so 325, a little bacon fat, and the steaks are gonna go in salt side down. A light salting of the other side. Now you want to let them sear for about 10 minutes. So how about while those sear, we'll do some veg prep. We'll chop up 1 yellow onion. One big green bell pepper. A rib or 2 of celery, depending on their size. Should we save these for garnish?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We have hit the 10-minute mark on our sear. It smells amazing, by the way.
It does smell amazing.
This smells very St. Martinville to me.
Very close to the bone beef meat.
Let's see if we've hit the release point, and we sure have. That's the kind of fawn that you want. You don't want black. Black is burnt. That's fine. Little color. Perfect. Beautiful. Now all we got to do is cover this with our veg. And here I go doing that now.
The beginning of the smother.
Now we're going to start adding in some seasoning because the temperature is going to drop. So we're going to use a little bit of our all-purpose blends.
It's so good.
We'll link back to the short for the recipe on that. We've got a few cool spice blends you can mix on your own. We're going to go ahead and cover the top. I'm going to lower my heat to about a medium low, and I'm going to cover it. We're just going to let it sit here and reflect upon itself.
Yes.
For about an hour.
Yes.
At which point we're going to add some stock.
Yes.
And then it's going to have some more reflection time.
That's correct.
Okay, here we go. So we got about 20 minutes left on that first hour. So we're gonna go ahead and slice up about 3 to 4 ounces of mushrooms. We're gonna go with some pretty thick slices, about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. Perfect. Let's bring those over to the stove, where we've got a dry, heavy bottom skillet heated up to about 325 to about 340 degrees. And we're gonna lay our slices down individually. So right around the 10-minute mark, I think what's basically occurred is most of the moisture that was inside of those mushrooms has escaped in the form of steam.
Yes.
So right now, and only now, are we gonna add a fat. And in this case, that fat is gonna be our garlic oil. Give them a little stir. And yeah, you're right, they caramelize like right away.
Immediately.
It's so cool. And now we can add these to our dish without adding in that spongy, weird, fleshy, nasty mushroom texture that everybody seems to not like.
It prevents people from loving mushrooms.
It
and
does.
We cannot have it.
You must love the mushroom.
Yes.
If you're one of those that says, I don't like mushrooms, I don't like the texture, this is the fix. Yeah, let us know if you're a mushroom hater and then you tried this and you were like, oh man, I love mushrooms now.
Yeah, like, oh, I get it.
That would be amazing. Okay, we are 1 hour into this process, and this is looking amazing. These bones have already left the building. They're not even connected anymore. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna add in 1 quart of beef stock and bring that back up to a high heat. Make sure to get all the grémys off of the side. And now you can see the color darken once we start to get that fond, AKA grémys, down off the side of the pan. And of course off the bottom. I try to keep them as whole as possible and as separated as possible, just for presentation purposes. All right, so at this point, we do need to season this again. And we're just gonna go back in with some all-purpose. This is like a Tony Chachere's type blend. It's just salt, cayenne, black pepper, granulated garlic. Cover the top, good to go. Again, we're just trying to stir without disturbing the meat too much. Just to keep them together, just for presentation purposes. Ah, that color. I feel like Bob Ross. Some happy little broth over here. You can give it a little taste. Definitely on our way. So basically we'll let this come up to a simmer, maybe even a light boil. And we're gonna let it reduce for about 45 minutes to an hour until we get a nice thick gravy. We'll check back in then. All right, so we've made rice. And now for my next trick, I'm going to try to remove each steak on its own, one at a time. Now we're gonna take this gravy, put it back on the stove, and add in the mushrooms. I mean, most importantly, we got to get all these grémys off the side of the pot and off the bottom. So you give it a little stir. Go for a little more heat here. Now we're going to add in our mushrooms. Now you could add flour here. You could add cornstarch. But the real magic is if you take these onions and your celeries and everything, you kind of give a little mash. When you break these down, these are going to give you all of the, I don't know, thickness that you need to make your gravy without the flour, without the cornstarch, etc. All right, so all you got to do is spoon this over our steaks now. We're going to go ahead and garnish with some celery leaves.